Okay, hello everyone. This is Billy Bedlam 66 coming back at you. Been a long time since I made a video. I don't have too many up, but I saw this thing and I'd heard about it a couple of days ago about this observatory in New Mexico, and I thought, well, they probably saw a classified flight of a stealth fighter or something, and they might have been taking pictures and sending it to their buddies and got caught. Observatories have to be a little bit careful. Most of them are either owned and operated by the United States government, or they, in this case, owned by colleges, but they get government grants. So if you see something you're not supposed to, and you start taking pictures and sending it around, or if it's a radio observatory and you get radio traffic from a classified military aircraft and you send it around, you can get in trouble. So that's what I thought at first. But there's other theories that make just as much sense. The one thing that didn't make any sense to me is somebody said, well, the Chinese had hacked into it and they were using it to spy on the weapons facility down there where they test missiles. That missile range, I can't remember the name of it now. That was the theory there. The problem is this is not a radio observatory that uses radio signals, so they really couldn't, hone in on Army or Air Force missile test range radio traffic. This thing is a telescope that looks straight up in the air, so that doesn't make much sense either. It's, I guess they might have been able to use that observatory for something. Maybe they had people working there that were going over to the White Sands missile range. That's the missile range. White Sands, it's hard to say. We've got so many H-1B visa students here from countries like China. Something like that is possible. But then I heard another theory that made even more sense. The government has been doing weather control since the late 1800s. Lots of documents on that, patents. Even the U.S. Army Cavalry put out a report that you can find in any public library on documents from the past where they talk about sending a balloon aloft with dynamite, causing it to explode, causing it to rain. This was done in Oklahoma in 1883 or something like that. U.S. Army Cavalry did. And then you bring it forward and you have the cloud seeding, and now you have HARP and all that, and the chemtrails, of course. There's some talk on the internet that maybe the government is also doing something with the sun, some type of, maybe they're trying to enhance the sunlight or do something like that. Maybe it's possible. And these guys at the observatory got to look at it through the telescope and said, hey, that don't look right. There's something messing with the sun. It's possible, and something like that would fall under the National Security Act. They get a little bit miffy about that. There is an article from Gizmodo. I'm going to read it here real quick. This is how it starts. FBI suspiciously locks down, evacuates Solar Observatory in New Mexico. Now, this observatory is south of Roswell. They do have a radio observatory on the plains of San Augustine where they think some of the debris from Roswell came down. So it's really interesting that this area of New Mexico has seen a lot of bizarre behavior since the 1947 Roswell crash. Strange stuff. So they talk about a newspaper article about suspicious activity at a space research facility, government agents and military vehicles. They say that the local sheriff got angry because he was not informed of this. TV news reports, interviews with locals saying things like this: nothing really happens here much, and since nobody knows, it could be almost anything. I was listening to the interview with the kid that said that. He said nothing really ever happens there. It's kind of a boring little town. It's called Sunspot, and the town was built basically for the observatory. It kind of makes you wonder if this, since it's a space, since they admit that it's a quote, let me go back up here. that it is a space research facility that could have both classified and unclassified work. It could definitely have, they could be doing military type operations there. Maybe their job is to monitor classified goings on in low orbit space, and maybe they decided they saw something this time that was like, whoa, that's not good. Maybe let's report it to the public. It's possible they knew they couldn't report anything over the internet as it would be captured, but maybe they figured they'd use a post office. Now, the reason I say that is because they shut not only the post office in Sunspot down, but in down the road there is a town called Cloud something or other. I don't know much about this area except other than Roswell, and I've been to Roswell for the big yearly thing down there. They do say that the observatory was temporarily closed because of an undisclosed security issue, says Sherry Lifson, a spokesman for the group that manages the facility, which is the Association of Universities for Research in Astronomy. We have decided to vacate the facility at this time as a precautionary measure. It was our decision to evacuate the facility. Otero County Sheriff Benny House told the Daily News that the FBI agents told his officers to, quote, stand by, and would not explain the security threat to him or why the federal law enforcement agency was involved. But for the FBI to get involved that quick and to be so secret about it, there has got to be a lot of stuff going on up there. He also said there were Black Hawk helicopters and a bunch of people around the antennas and work crews on the towers, but that nobody would tell him anything. House seemed especially confused since the staff at the observatory aren't federal employees as far as he knows. These guys are regular workers that work for this company. I don't know why the FBI would get involved so quick and not tell us anything. Then down here, Frank Fisher, Public Affairs Offices, the FBI Albuquerque Division, told Gizmodo that it was referring all inquiries to ARA. That's the group that owns the facility. They said that the facility is still closed because they're addressing a security issue and is working with the proper authorities on the issue, but has no further comment. A dispatcher at the Otero County Sheriff's Office told Gizmodo that the matter is still a complete mystery to their office. We do not know what is going on. We haven't had any updates. We haven't gotten any information at all. There is not much that we can do about it. We've decided to respect their wishes. We're not going to make any inquiries, and they are not telling us. So, you know, it's a weird situation, and it's hard to say what exactly is going on. Like I said, there could be a number of issues. It could be that they observe some type of classified aircraft or operations in low orbit, maybe inside the atmosphere. Maybe something flew in front of the telescope, they got a picture of it, and they started bragging to their friends, ooh, we got a stealth fighter in one of our photos. And Pentagon said, you're not going to do that. No. It's also possible that they were observing some type of phenomenon involving the sun that is not normal, and it's possible that the FBI, NASA, a lot of groups are a little bit inside the government are a little bit spooked. Maybe the government doesn't even know what's going on. There is one lady that put up a YouTube video. She said the sun has been going dark for 69 minutes a day during the day for the past couple of years. I read up on that, and it's not completely going dark, it's dimming. And that is, NASA has confirmed that NASA has talked about that. They're not sure why this is happening. So maybe these people at this observatory, maybe they put the pieces together. Maybe they figured out why this sunspot or whatever this thing is happening, and they're going, duh, we figured it out. Well, if you figure it out and the government doesn't want you to say it publicly, they're going to say, keep your mouth shut. Because nobody from that place is talking. Nobody. You can't get a word out of anybody. There's nobody from that place. And if it was a UFO or something like that, everybody would be talking. That whole place would be talking. They'd be putting it up on their website. Which, by the way, their website, let me see if I even got it here. Let me see this, if this is the one. Okay, here's something else. The New Mexico State University director at Sunspot Solar Observatory is also in the dark over the sun enclosure. Here's the other article I found. So this observatory is run by the state of New Mexico. It's part of a chain of observatories across New Mexico, and in fact across the United States, from what I hear. The universities in each state are responsible for this. They've even got one here in Colorado, I found out when doing some research today on the internet. They've got an observatory here that does the same thing. Now, according to some people on Reddit, there are 7 observatories nationwide that look at sunspots, and after this one got shut down, the rest of them all went offline too, and people have not been able to get any updated photos from any of these observatories. So something is going on that they don't want anybody to see. Now, there was a theory that the Chinese could have been using this facility to spy on white sands. I don't see how that's even possible, because this is not a radio observatory. This is a telescope. There's the radio observatory is up at the plains of San Augustus, which is way north. It's like almost 100 miles north of this place. So this is a telescope that looks straight up at the sky and at the sun. So not really sure about that. I'm not an expert at telescopes. I did study some radio observatory stuff in college. I took a class in it for astronomy. Had to have an astronomy credit, so I took it. You had to have one like basic science for Bachelor of Fine Arts and Graphic Design. So I took the astronomy class, and I got to take part 2, even though you're supposed to take part 1 first. I took part 2, and they talked about radio astronomy, and we went out and visited a radio astronomy place. It's cool. If you get a chance to go. It's all the weird things you can hear out in space, the pulsars, the quasars, you can hear them all and the noises they make. But yeah, you can also pick up classified aircraft communications. You can pick up radio communications. That's why they call it a radio observatory. It's possible that they picked up communications from a classified flight, or they picked up communications. Maybe Trump was telling Putin, hey, I need to make some more money. I'm still broke. Can I launder some more money for you? Or maybe it was the CIA making a coke deal with the Mexican drug cartel. Who knows? But these guys either saw or heard something they weren't supposed to. And these are college kids. They don't know any better. They see something cool on the telescope or whatever. They're like, dudes, we got to get this out on the net. And it probably got them in trouble, whatever it was. But it could be something much more sinister. The stories that are floating around too is that our sun is actually dying. And there are stories that maybe these astronomers, these sunspot experts, have noticed this, and they're going, wow, we got problems here. Now, maybe that's happening. I mean, we have to conclude that we could be dealing with some type of die-off of our sun, which is a star, by the way. The sun is just another star. Maybe it's dying, and maybe these observers are picking up on this, and they're writing notes, and they're sending notes back and forth to each other, because they've got to know if they do everything on the web, they're going to get shut down, because there's no doubt the government is watching them through the internet. So it's possible they were using the post office, because the post office gets shut down. So let me go over this article a little bit. In La Cruces, New Mexico, the New Mexico State University director of the Sunspot Solar Observatory said the evacuation of the facility last week was extremely calm. I picked up the phone, called our people, and asked them to lock everything up and leave quietly and sensibly. Dr. James McAteer. It was extremely calm. They locked everything up and left. That said, ABC 7 broke the news that the FBI evacuated the National Solar Observatory and the U.S. Postal Service office in Sunspot for security reasons. New Mexico State has 4 employees at the observatory, and the Association of Universities for Research in Astronomy, which is ARA, has around 5 employees. They are telecommuting. There's plenty of work for them. 2 to 3 employees at the post office. He was not told why they were told to evacuate, but he does not believe it has anything to do with the telescope. There is no issue with the telescope. It has never been better. Another PhD professor at MSU says he was surprised. He was curious as what might be happening. I still don't know, and I hope it can reopen soon because we have projects going on up there, different experiments that we're doing. Cloudcroft, that's where the other post office is. They also evacuated that post office too, which kind of freaked people out because they, and the residents in Cloudcroft, they have no idea what's going up there, according to them. He says he hopes that every single person in the state wants to go to Sunspot after this visit. It's open to the public. It's paid for by the public. It's a bizarre thing. Let me find another article here. Let's look at this one here. Odd observatory closure sparks conspiracy theories. Okay, it started last Thursday when the facility, which is located in town of Sunspot, as well as a nearby post office, were closed, citing unspecified safety concerns. They talked once again, this article talks about a Black Hawk helicopter. A bunch of people ran the antennas and work crews on the towers, but nobody would tell us anything, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so that's a really short article there. Yeah, just weird, bizarre things like this. Okay, now here is the actual article, or the web page from the Sunspot Solar Observatory. Staring at the sun since 1947, Sunspot Solar Observatory temporarily closed. On Thursday, September 6th, ARA made the decision to temporarily close Sunspot. The Sunspot Solar Observatory continues to work closely with ARA in order to allow us to reopen as soon as possible. With the excitement this closure has generated, we hope you will come and visit us when we do reopen and see for yourself the services we provide for science and public outreach in heliophysics. If you have any questions about the science we perform at the telescope or about the outreach we provide through our visitor center, please contact our director, Dr. McTeer. I'm beginning to wonder, do you think it's possible that they did this on purpose, that there's nothing really going on, that maybe they did this to just try and, maybe the customers weren't coming through the door, maybe they weren't getting people interested enough in anything, and they just did this so they could drum up support? You think that's possible? I mean, anything's possible. It would be sad if people are going to this point to get attention in the scientific community to fake some kind of mysterious closure because we saw something we shouldn't. But I mean, he kind of makes it clear right there that he's hoping when they reopen, people come in droves, and it's like, okay, so did you do this on purpose? I mean, that's weird. That's really weird. So yeah, it's worth looking at. It's worth asking a question. And then here's Vice News. Something mysterious is happening at a solar observatory in New Mexico. Something strange is happening at the Sunspot Solar Observatory in New Mexico, and there's only one thing we know for certain. It's not an alien. Really? How do they know that? Because let me tell you something. I know people that live down there in that area in New Mexico. They said weird stuff goes on all the time. UFO sightings like crazy down there. So who knows what this is? I mean, it's hard to tell at this point. The article basically states what the others state. It's closed due to unforeseen circumstances. It was vacated. They don't know why. They said there's a cryptic message on the observatory's website saying, "Thank you for your understanding." It just goes into what the others go into. I don't know what the cryptic message was. Let me go back and take a look at the website, and let's see. Let's see if it's actually there, this so-called cryptic message. Yeah, I don't see anything on here. Yeah, that's weird. I don't see what they're talking about that's on there. So, anyways, it's a bizarre thing. It's really strange, but you know there could also be 100 normal reasons why they would shut that down. I hope this isn't like these active shooter drills where they, you know, um, get on the news, you know. They advertise these shootings, you know, these active shooter drills. Yeah, we're going to do a drill, come out, make $50 an hour, get some free pizza and pop. Next thing you know, you see it on the news and you're going, wait a minute, they said a drill. Why all of a sudden is this shit being advertised as real, you know? Like I said, I don't want to get into the active shooter drill. I don't know what these things are, whether these shootings are horrific, horrible, real things or fake. I can tell you I did the Columbine research. I can tell you that thing was as real as can be. Now, could somebody have done something stupid here at this observatory to try and get attention? Did somebody do something bad? Did they do something that was bad but not something that would hurt people to get the observatory shut down? So in a way to kind of generate attention, maybe bring more money in? God, I hope not. Because these kids have a hard enough time. Most of these kids working at these observatories and in other research labs, they're working on their master's degrees, their PhDs. They don't need any funny business. They got a ton of student loans they're going to have to pay back. They may not even get a job after college. If somebody did something here to jack with their work, to maybe say, oh, look what happened here. Somebody messed with us. We need more money now. We need more of this. I hope somebody isn't playing games with them like that. Because I love this stuff, you know. Like I said, you know, I got to go out into a radio observatory. I got to take a class in astronomy. It's fun stuff. You'll have fun, you know. If you got a telescope, go out and take a look at the stars and everything. You'll have fun. I just hope somebody is. I hope it's not real either. I hope it's not a real national security thing. I hope they find out it was somebody logged a photo wrong, or they accidentally released a photo they weren't supposed to, sending it through the mail. You know, I hope it's something stupid, because we pay for all this technology. We pay for all these observatories. I'd hate to see something get permanently shut down because somebody did something stupid that they shouldn't have done. You know, so let's hope this is resolved quick. Let's hope this is not bigger. Let's hope that this is not something wrong with the sun, because there are plenty of researchers out there speaking about this based off of NASA's data, independent laboratory data from around the world, suggesting that we are starting to see some very strange behavior from the sun. Let's hope that's not the case. Let's hope these kids did not see something weird and it spooked them, and they knew they couldn't take it out over the internet, so they mailed something to somebody and said, here, can you look at this and verify our results? And then it got back to the government, and the government shut them down. Let's hope this is just some stupid little thing that'll be fixed quickly. Anyways, that is all I have for now. So like I said, you know, let's watch the other important things like Syria. You know, that's a mess over there. You know, keep your head on a swivel, keep watching all the weird stuff, you know, and keep posting as many videos as you can of things that go on, so everyone can, you know, get a chance to see what's happening in the world, because CNN isn't going to tell you this stuff, that's for sure. So anyways, this is Belly Bidlum 66 signing off for now. Bye.